Is it good?
No, no.
Aw, you've got a whole bowl full.
Comforting chicken and sweet corn soup, and I've supercharged mine with some extra veggies because this one is a favorite of my little Charlie. She loves it. In fact, she loves most soups, but she loves this one, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. When I was growing up, when I was little, my parents would take me to a Chinese restaurant, and this was one of my favorite soups that I love to order, chicken sweet corn soup. Now I've got a more revamped, more packed full of vegetable version for you guys today because, as I said, this one I love making for my little 2-year-old. She just adores slurping this one down, so I try and put as many vegetables in as possible. Now we're going to start off with the chicken broth. We're going to make that from scratch because I like to do this on a Sunday or on the weekend. I make a huge batch of broth and I'll use it for any kind of soups for Charlie during the week. So it's just something that I put on the stove, let simmer away. And what I want to do is just get my chicken, whole chicken, into a large pot. And this is an Asian style broth, so we're going to use some Asian style aromatics. And we'll start off with some ginger and some garlic. So I'm going to crush those. And I want a couple of stems of spring onion. And then one of my little special trick ingredients here is dried shrimp. So you can find this at an Asian grocer or in most major supermarkets these days, and this will add like a background savouriness and kind of boost the flavour of the stock. So it's my little secret ingredient. And then a little bit of soy sauce to get the seasoning starting to happen there. And now just cover that with some water. Now once I can start to see a little bit of steam and that water has just started simmering, just give that a bit of a stir and then pop the lid on. So I want to cook this for about an hour. The aim here is to cook it enough so that I get some flavour into the broth, but not too much so that the chicken meat itself becomes flavourless. The longer you boil it, the more you seem to lose the chicken flavour in the chicken. So we want to find balance there so that we can use both the chicken and the soup. Okay, so let's have a look at our chicken. Over the hour, I've just been skimming off any of those little untoward bits and pieces that rise up to the top. And now I want to get my chicken out just onto a plate or a tray. Let that chicken cool down and then tear it up into little shreds. You'll have way more than you need for this recipe, but I find that's not a big deal. I'll either use it for another soup or I'll put it in a sandwich or a salad. So many things to do with it. And now the spring onion and any other bits and pieces, I just want to take those out. And then I'm just going to strain that stock. Now look at that gorgeous color. That's all good flavor, my friends. Now you don't need all of this, about 8 cups is what I usually use for this recipe, and the rest can go in the freezer. And now here's where we start to go a little bit rogue with our chicken and sweet corn soup. So I'm going to add in a whole bunch of cauliflower, and this is such a great addition because do you know that if you didn't even know there was cauliflower in this soup, you wouldn't even taste it. So it's a great way to get little kids and big kids to eat a few more veggies. I'm also going to add some corn kernels. I'm just using frozen corn because I've always got it in the freezer. It's really handy. And I want most of that corn. I'm going to leave some of that corn at the end because I'll blitz this little mixture in here, and I want a few little bits of corn left at the end. Now you want to simmer this for about 20 minutes or until that cauliflower is really nice and soft. So my cauliflower is ready. I'm going to go in there with my stick blender. The point is we want to make this really nice and smooth, get rid of any evidence of that cauliflower. So now that I've got a nice smooth base, I'm going to add back in my other little whole pieces of corn kernels. And then here's some of that chicken that I shredded up. And look at that, we're starting to get into a regular looking chicken sweet corn soup here. Just want to thicken this up a little more and add some corn flour that I've mixed with some water. And now look how thick and glossy and amazing that soup is looking. Now I'm going to add in the eggs. I want 2 eggs, and just make sure that soup has come back to a gentle simmer, and then just slowly drizzle in and pour in that egg. Give it a good mix, and oh, I just love all those little streaky, creamy bits of that egg in there. It reminds me so much of those childhood Chinese restaurant visits with my parents. Now we haven't added any seasoning here yet since the beginning of our stock making process, so I really want to taste this and see where we're at. That is such an amazing flavor. You know, I can still taste that little hint of ginger, a little bit of that garlic and spring onion, but mainly really good, comforting chicken, sweet corn flavors. So good. I do need a little bit of salt here. And now we're just serving up. And now just a little sprinkling of spring onion on the top, depending on whether your little or big ones are amenable to some greenery on their dinner. So there you go, guys, my take on that restaurant classic chicken and sweet corn soup with a little cauliflower twist. I just need a couch, a little blankie, some Netflix. Yeah, forget about the toddler. This is totally my kind of dinner as well. Yum.
More?
If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Thanks, guys.